Joining me is a committee member from the Rainbow Devils, Manchester United's LGBT plus supporters club, Sam Danson. Thanks so much for joining us. Good to have you with us. Your reaction to the current bids in place?
Yeah, it's as we said in the statement, it's some of the bids are concerning. I think that it's worth noting that no bid is perfect, and the Glazers are far from perfect. And so we're not claiming that we want Mother Teresa to be the owner of the club. No billionaire with a spare $5 billion is going to be able to have a perfect record, it seems. And I think mainly we're just worried about and really concerned about wanting football to be as inclusive as possible for everybody, and that's everybody across the world, not just in Manchester. And I think that therefore any potential owner who is from a place where it's illegal to be homosexual, not just that, but could potentially be murdered or tortured, it's not acceptable, and I think we've got a right to question that and challenge that.
Yeah, as you say, there is no perfect owner. You certainly have a very pragmatic approach. But if Qatar were to be successful in this bidding process and were to become the new owners of Manchester United, what would you be worried about as a priority?
I'd be worried about how that feels for LGBT people across the world, how it feels for female supporters across the world, and refugees or migrants across the world, because Manchester United is one of the biggest clubs in the world and represents a lot of people, and to be owned by a place that doesn't accept or acknowledge or treat fairly those people, I think is a really, really negative thing, and I wouldn't feel proud of the club anymore.
Yeah, that's really interesting that it would be more a kind of an emotional response rather than anything that would practically change for you as a fan. But of course, it does sound like Qatar really has, unlimited money and could afford pretty much any price tag. Who do you see winning this bidding process?
It's really difficult to say at the moment. Obviously, I'm not sure what the Glazers are going to really consider. I think obviously money does talk, and that worries me. I do hope that, as they said in the past, that they'd want to consult fans and make sure they're acting in the best interest of the fans. I don't believe that acting in the best interest of the fans is choosing owners who don't represent those fans at all. And I think that that's the hope. Whether that's the expectation is a different thing, unfortunately.
And what do you make of Gulf investment in British sporting institutions, for instance, Newcastle, that's owned by the Saudis? What's your kind of impression of that Gulf investment, and does it make any difference to the clubs?
I think it makes a huge difference to the clubs and to the other clubs around them. I think it unbalances football, unfortunately. I think it creates a world where you can almost try and have a monopoly in football, and that's not the spirit of the game. It should be about the fans, it should be about the players at the club, and I think it just disconnects everybody and makes it less of a level playing field. It also just makes it just more political as well, and I really think that it's just not a positive influence, and it's taking effect across Europe and not just in the Premier League, and it's not good to see, and I hope that changes, to be honest.
Just one last brief question to you, if I may, Sam. If the Glazers do retain a stake in Manchester United, how would you feel about that?
It depends what stake they maintain. I think that the Glazers have had pretty much quite a negative effect on the club in terms of what they've failed to invest in, and I think that other than that, it feels like I can't see them being a huge detriment if there's a minority stake, but I still would rather just to see the back of them, to be honest. I've been well behind that for years, and I'm not going to change that now.